In the headlines, fire outbreak in Jigawa destroys National Open University of Nigeria office. Federal government fixes Monday for hearing on whether IPOB leader can be rearranged after his discharge by Court of Appeal. Nigeria Railway Property Management moves to secure properties nationwide. And away from Nigeria, at least 19 people killed in Egyptian minibus accident. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ila. Thank you for joining. And now the details. Fire has gutted Administration Department of the National Open University of Nigeria at the Federal Secretariat, Dutse, Jigawa State. The fire had destroyed all the office equipment and materials on the floor occupied by the Open University. Firemen from the State Fire Service were mobilized to the scene, but due to lack of firefighting equipment, the fire could not be put out. After about 30 minutes, personnel of the Federal Fire Service as well as Dutse International Fire Service joined the firemen to put out the fire that was still raging at the third floor of the building. The Open University Administration Office and library are completely burnt by the fire. Kano State Fire Service has confirmed the death of 3 persons following an early morning inferno in Badume Market in Bichi local government area of the state on Friday. Saminu Abdullahi, the public relations officer of the service, said this in a statement in Kano. Abdullahi stated that 100 temporary shops were also consumed by the inferno. He said that the service received an emergency call from Bichi Fire Station at about 3:30 a.m. and immediately sent rescue team to the scene to stop the fire from spreading to other shops. 3 unconscious bodies evacuated were later confirmed dead and the corpses handed over to Bichi Police Division. Abdullahi added that the service has already initiated an investigation into the causes of the inferno. He advised the general public to switch off all electrical appliances, disconnect from source when not in use, and handle fire with care. A notorious bandit commander, popularly called Dogo Mekasua, has been killed by security forces during a clearance operation in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, confirmed the killing to journalists. Aruwan disclosed that the notorious bandit, in the company of his foot soldiers, ran into an ambush by security operatives in a forest at the Gengere Kaso general area around the Chikun and Kajuru boundaries. According to him, security forces recovered 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 magazine, 5 rounds of ammunition, 2 motorcycles, 1 set of camouflage military fatigues from them. Other bandits, he added, escaped with gunshot wounds, while 1 of them died from injuries sustained in the fierce battle. The Plateau State Police Command has paraded suspected criminals for kidnapping, vandalism, culpable homicide, and unlawful possession of firearms in the state. Parading the suspects, at the headquarters of the command, the commissioner said that the suspects who confessed to the crimes were arrested following intelligence reports on the activities of the criminals. Ado Musa has more.
While parading the suspects, the commissioner said the command has put together various strategies to prevent crimes in the state. He said the police will not relent in ensuring that perpetrators face consequences of their criminal actions.
The successes recorded, particularly from Wase and the Buguri area, the areas will be having one problem or the other. We're able to get some of the criminals that have been disturbing us there and were able to neutralize one and recovered an AK-47 rifle with 8 rounds of ammunition.
Commenting on the woman that was abducted in Gimbi village of Wase local government area of the state, the commissioner said the police had arrested the kidnappers and had rescued the victim and had. He then warned the public to always be mindful of their surroundings, as most abductions were done with the connivance of an insider.
As well as the nursing mother with her 2-year-old daughter. It was a very big story in the town. And I just want to let you know that we are not just resting on our hours, we are working, and God being on our side, we are able to crack them. Apart from rescuing them on halt, they have been reunited with their families and they are living their normal life today.
One of the suspected abductors told newsmen that the victim was kidnapped because her husband allegedly stole 3 rams from them. We kidnapped the woman because her husband stole 3 rams from our house. So, initially we went to the house to kidnap her husband, but we couldn't meet him in the house. We then decided to kidnap the wife. The Plateau Commissioner of Police, however, advised public to report all suspicious movements and persons to the police and other law enforcement agencies to help rid the state of criminalities. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan has debunked reports that 5 aggrieved governors of the People's Democratic Party, known as the G5, are fighting his cause. The former president also urged warring members of the party to settle their differences ahead of the 2023 general elections, according to a statement released by his special advisor, Ikechukwu Eze. For months, the PDP G5 governors, namely Samuel Otom of Benue State, Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, Okeze Ikpeazu of Abia, and Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State have been consistent in their demand that Iyorchia Ayu should step down as PDP national chairman as a precondition to campaign for the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. Jonathan was reportedly called to intervene in the G5 Ayu row. Eze in the statement said that it is not out of place for Jonathan to be called upon to intervene in the crisis. The federal government has filed an amended 7 counts of terrorism charges against the detained leader of the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, at the Federal High Court in Abuja. This is coming after the Court of Appeal discharged Kanu of all the terrorism allegations, as well as appeals on the subject matter still pending before the Supreme Court. The amended charges were entered before the Federal High Court in Abuja and contained all earlier sustained allegations against the IPOB leader. Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court Abuja has subsequently fixed next month for Kanu's team of lawyers and the federal government's prosecution team to address the court on whether the federal government could proceed to rearraign the IPOB leader on the amended charges despite the October 13 judgment of the Court of Appeal that freed him. The FG in the amended charges alleged that Kanu had issued a deadly threat via a broadcast heard and received across the country that anyone who disobeyed his sit-at-home order in the southeastern states should write his or her will. Lawyers of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, led by Mike Ezohume, have been drawn to a much publicized but rumored fresh 7-count amended charge allegedly filed against Kanu by the federal government. In a statement issued by one of Kanu's lawyers, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, the lawyers noted that the alleged new charge has the same charge number as the one already pronounced upon and struck out by the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, and has not been set aside by any superior court. Ejiofor stated that they have appealed to the Supreme Court against the appellate court's ruling staying execution of its own judgment, which had dismissed the 7-count charge preferred against him by the federal government. The government had filed an appeal alleging the decision of the Court of Appeal on October 13, which discharged all remaining charges preferred against Kanu at the Supreme Court. No date has been fixed for hearing of the appeal at the Apex Court. Nigerian Railway Property Management Company is making moves to reclaim landed property belonging to Nigeria Railway from people who encroached on such lands nationwide. Managing Director of the Railway Property Management Company, Timothy Zalanga, while inspecting some areas in Kaduna where people illegally occupy their property, said the move will ensure railway properties are safeguarded, especially as the government is trying to revive the sector. Bello Musa reports.
Inspecting some of the affected areas in Kaduna where people encroach on the railway property for years, Zalanga wondered those claiming ownership of the railway property to desist from such claims.
I'm sure all of you who are quite aware that railway is one of the largest property owner in Nigeria. And over the years, these lands are gradually beginning to get out of sight, out of records. The good thing about railway land is that it is well accounted for. You can see the extent. We have all the drawings of railway line nationwide, so you can't run away from it. It's only that over the time we have been taking it a little bit low profile, but now we are ready for the big fight.
According to him, apart from individuals, government agencies are some of the culprits encroaching on the railway property.
So that is the major challenge that we have dealing with government agencies. It's very easy when you deal with individuals, be able to determine the extent of encouragement. Now, we can't say for sure for now, because what we can tell you is that on paper, we know the extent of railway land nationwide.
Some of the areas visited in Kaduna include Birnin Yaro, Kakuri, Monday Market, Abakpa, Sabon Tasha, and Television Garage. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at Makurdi residents lament economic downturn. Details of this and more after the break.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Fire outbreak in Jigawa destroys National Open University of Nigeria office. Federal government fixes Monday for hearing on whether IPOB leader can be rearranged after his discharge by Court of Appeal. In other news, the Kwara State government said only the dredging of rivers Niger and Benue will put a stop to the perennial flood crisis in some parts of the country. Receiving relief materials from the National Emergency Management Agency, Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak said that the flood disaster was also made worse by the impact of the opening of dams coupled with consistent torrential rains. The report.
Flooding in some part of Kwara State has become an annual tragedy with huge losses of both lives and property. And again, the National Emergency Management Agency is here to present relief materials to the affected victims.
I am glad to say that in line with the assessment conducted and some of the reports presented to the Parent Ministry, Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari approved the release of 12,000 metric tons of assorted grains from the National Grains Reserve, Strategic Reserve, for distribution to all states of the Federation and the FCT.
Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Mamman Jibril, applauded the federal government's effort. He said the permanent solution to the perennial flooding is the dredging of rivers Niger and Benue, as well as the control of release of dam waters.
We want the NEMA to do or give us the proper solution to these problems. When you give compensation this year, at whatever level, whether from the federal or state level, next year you prepare for another one. And that's how we continue to prepare at an annual basis.
7 persons lost their lives and thousands of hectares of farmland were destroyed this year in Patigi due to the flood disaster.
Driving in Abuja could be fun, but not anymore because of recklessness. Motorists have on several occasions been called upon to desist from committing traffic infractions while applying the busy roads in the Federal Capital Territory. Trust TV's Kabir Lawa reports on how motorists that violate traffic rules can be made to pay a price, thereby reducing the menace to the barest minimum.
Numbers of vehicles plying the roads in Abuja can be as many as one could imagine. Violation of traffic rules is common often in the presence of law enforcement officers. Head of Public Relations of the Directorate of Road Transport Service, Kalu Emetu, said the call for drivers to respect traffic rules has become necessary in view of its frequent violation.
Now somebody sees a red light, traffic light showing red, and he's speeding. Something is wrong. And such person is supposed to be subjected to such tests. And that is one of the things we are doing. We have been taking so many vehicle drivers to psychiatrists. We've taken them to such people who evaluate their mental stability. All these things are to ensure that people behave normal.
He said that the Directorate will soon commence aggressive enforcement against route violation, warning that the Directorate will not fold its arms and allow motorists engage on reckless driving on the roads.
You don't have to operate or pick passengers while on the roads. You have to clear, enter designated areas, which is the garage we talked about. When you make use of all these facilities provided for this kind of services, that is when government will say yes, people are making use of the infrastructure they've provided.
Road users called on drivers with penchant for traffic rules violation to be law-abiding at all times to make the roads more safer and also park in various designated centers.
The little advice I have for reckless driving in Abuja is at least some drivers don't have good tires. That's one of the good things about it. They don't have good tires. They don't care about the tires they have in their car. So sometimes it fails. And one of the reckless driving, Abuja have a very good road. They have a very good road network. But the driving of a thing is, some people don't even know how to use the lane.
Them is that they should be careful and they should be focused and they should be patient whenever they are on the route. Whenever they are on steering, they should be patient. Patient is the only thing.
Kalu Emetu further revealed that punitive measures will be imposed against traffic offenders, endangering lives of other motorists by driving recklessly.
No matter how you treat them, they will always operate on the road. We always have answer for them. These are the people who impound the vehicle. Impounding the vehicle is when we have explained to them the reason why they have to operate inside the garage. Like telling them when you go in there, you ensure that there is orderly on our roads. when you go in there, you are contributing, having a good environment where people will say yes.
About 32,617 people have lost their life to road crashes in Nigeria since 2016 till date. And according to sources, most of these accidents in Nigeria are fatal. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, with less than 7 weeks to the 2022 Christmas, marketers across Nigeria are lamenting low patronage as inflation hits. The markets that are supposed to be bubbling with traders and buyers, as was the tradition during festivities in the country, is witnessing unprecedented economic challenge. In Makurdi, Jimmy Azande was at the high-level market to assess the situation.
Usually on a day like this market will be congested to the brim with human and vehicular movements trying to make purchases for the coming festivity. But with economic downturn, residents say they are now only bothered with how to feed their family and attend to pressing issues.
They don't finish us. Now die we they die. You sit down for market for morning till night. We know they sell shishi. As we come, now so we they go. We go sit down for 1 hour, 2 hours. I never see person say pam pam because of the costly price of things in the market.
The normal price 30,000, that is the biggest good, but now you won't see a big good for 30,000. If you are saying it's about 50,000 and 60,000 above. Chicken then it was highest during festive period. You will see a chicken of 3.5 that is reasonable. Now you can't see a chicken of 3.5 that is reasonable unless 7,000.
The traders also lamented poor patronage. To them, it has never been this bad. This has led to the closure of many shops as some can no longer cope with shop rents and taxes.
As of last week, local rice goes for 30,000. As of yesterday, it goes for 33,500 as of yesterday. Oil, King's oil goes for 6,600 as of last week. Presently, we are selling for 7,300 based on the increment of market. So the Semovita, which people were managing, was sold for 6,400 before, as of last week. Presently, we are selling for 6,700.
They pray and hope that the crop of leadership in 2023 will change the situation for good. They said the prices of items like foodstuff and textiles have skyrocketed beyond the reach of ordinary Nigerians.
To even eat on daily basis is a very big task to parents. And so I want to advise the government to do something to this economy.
It is obvious that people are reacting to the harsh economic reality in the country, which has gotten worse due to the recent flooding.
We'll now take a short break. The news update continues after. Please join us again.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back from that break. Now, away from Nigeria, the Egyptian Health Ministry says at least 19 people were killed and 6 injured Saturday when the minibus they were traveling in overturned in the country's northern Nile Delta. The minibus tumbled into a canal in Dakalia province. The ministry said it was badly damaged and its windows were shattered, according to an AFP photographer at the scene. Police have cordoned off the site as a crowd gathered to watch the rescue efforts. Egyptian media outlets reported the accident was caused by a malfunctioning steering wheel. Without elaborating, traffic accidents are common in Egypt, where roads are often poorly maintained and driving rules flouted. And finally, in sports news, Super Eagles head coach Jose Peseiro on Friday released his list for the prestige friendly against his native country, Portugal. A day earlier, his Portuguese counterpart, Fernando Santos, rolled out his own list for the game and the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Talismanic captain Cristiano Ronaldo will lead the former European champions' attack against the Super Eagles, with the likes of Rafael Leo, Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes also expected to play. However, Peseiro has a powerful strike force that will scare Portugal. The quartet of Victor Osimhen, Terem Murphy, Ademola Lookman and Paul Onuachu have scored a combined 37 goals for their respective clubs this season. And that's a wrap on Trust News Update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching.